around, and for our guys, I'm sure they're glad for that. You know, we got back, I guess Saturday night, probably about 1:30 almost, and so we had a brief workout yesterday, and we'll get back at it today. Just trying to make sure our guys are still intact here. You know, school's out, and it's I'm sure a lot of things are going on with these guys. You know, have an opportunity to go out and perform well in Little Rock, and school's not out. I mean, school's out right now, so they just got basketball right now. And of course, after the game tonight, they have an opportunity to go home for a few days. So I just want to make sure they hadn't checked out. So that's going to be big, you know, for our guys, because we're playing against an Oral Roberts team that, you know, their last couple outings, they beat Southwest Missouri. I think it was Southwest Missouri State. Called Missouri State now, I think. Then, of course, they just beat Florida Gulf Coast, had them down almost 20 points in the first half. So it's a team that caught my attention. First-year coach and Coach Mills, but he's doing a very good job. He was with Baylor for quite a while, so I'm very, very familiar with him. And of course, they mirror what Baylor does. Got some big guys, size guys, orange, play inside. A kid by the name of White, he's had like maybe 3 or 4 double-doubles. So it's a team with size. And we've got to make sure that we continue to emphasize rebounding the basketball. I think our defense has been really, really good. But the last part of defense is rebound the basketball. So it's something we got to continue to do and continue to develop our bench. I think our bench has been the biggest difference in how we're playing at this point in time. And we just got to continue to develop our bench.
All right, we'll open up the questions. You can raise your hand on the mic.
Yeah, Mike, you kind of hit on this the other night, but I was maybe wanting you to expand on it. You guys have only had 20 combined turnovers the last 3 games, so that's less than 7 a game. And for the style you play, I would think, 12 or 13, you'd have at least 12 or 13 if you were having a good game. Well, what's been the key to that? You've been surprised that it's been so low with you're scoring over 90 every game?
Well, 11 is a good number, Bob, not 13, 14. That means you ain't taking care of the basketball. So even to play at that pace, to have 11 turnovers. So I think, it's probably a sign of a team that's maybe a veteran. They value the ball. I always talk about seeing it through my eyes, and I think you can play efficient basketball and still play up-tempo basketball. Play with that freedom, and I think as opposed to making that 50-50 pass, I think they're making the right pass now, and the right guys are taking the shots. But I credit also with our defense, because if you look at some of the assists that we're getting, a lot of those in transition, or we throw it inside, and I think Daniel's making pretty good decisions with the basketball. So I think it's a team that's valuing the basketball. We want to make sure we want to disrupt other people, and we're really doing that. We had 50 deflections in that game. And I think the guy that the other night, and you wouldn't know it because he wasn't scoring, was our leading scorer, Barford. I mean, he had 8 to 10 deflections in that game. So that tells me now guys are playing the game from a defensive mindset, and then, of course, offensively, they're taking pride in taking care of the basketball.
You have your three senior guards as your primary ball handlers, and especially Barford, he had like 1 more assist than turnover last year. This year it's like 2-to-1. Macon's 2-to-1. All those guys are 2-to-1. They're your primary ball handlers. How big is that? What's been the key to Barford and Macon, but especially Barford, having such a good assist to turnover?
I just think it's next level. It's dialed in for the next level. The next level is you clean up, from what took place last year. You got to be a better player than you were last year. He can't be that guy that has 1 more assists than did in turnovers last year. So that's part of it. If you're going to be a playmaker, if you're going to be a guy that's well-rounded, you got to be able to really make good decisions with the basketball. And to me, I think the critical pass is not necessarily the assist. It's the pass that leads up to the assist. And I think we're seeing guys really trusting each other. I think that's a big word right there. They're trusting each other. They had a chance to play with each other last year, especially with the newcomers coming on. And I think with Ton, so I think they got that comfort level now. And even when you talk about Dustin Thomas, you talk about Darryl Bailey. Obviously, we know Trey's a tremendous passer. So, like anything else, it gets contagious. So this team is really trusting and sharing the basketball.
Coach, Darryl was just named SEC Player of the Week. How much more well-rounded is his game at this point this year rather than last season?
I think we saw it on display in that game there, and it's just got to be a continuance. I mean, he was actually guarding, pressuring the ball. I mean, he was a one-man wrecking crew for about 3 plays where he just touched the ball and took it from the guy and went to the other end. I think in the last few games, we made it a point that our guards have got to rebound. He and Barford, they got to get me 3, 4, 5 rebounds. They're going to be out there on the floor. And Barford had 7 in that game. So, again, that's just, to me, that's just getting familiar with what we're doing. You know, the first year, you come in and you were the do-it-all kind of guy. Now you're playing with guys just as good as you. And, well, I guess in Darryl's mind, he's better than anybody. But you're playing with good players, other good players, and so you got to trust them, and they trust you. And so I think that's what we're seeing now. He's learned how to assimilate himself into a team, a true team, a team that hopefully will be one of the better teams in the country when it's all said and done.
So how do you feel Bailey has responded, because he was a starter, and then how you feel he's done coming off the bench?
I thought he's done well. I thought the last game in particular, I thought that was probably one of his best games in a Razorback uniform. I thought he was so active, and I don't know if he played with a lot of confidence. I thought he played angry. I mean, I thought he was going to tear the backboard down when I went back and watched the tape. But he was relentless everywhere. He played very athletic, and whether it be on defense, offense, running the floor. So the minutes he played were efficient minutes. So hopefully that's the age we're going to see from here on out, because that makes our bench that much more dangerous when you got a guy like him coming out and playing efficient basketball.
And Mike, one thing Phil Cunningham was saying is, you know, most teams you play, you know, the point guard's going to be the primary ball handler, and you kind of set up your defense that way. He said one of the reasons they played you guys zone was because they didn't know, because you basically have 3 point guards on the floor because you haven't bound any of those guys, and they bring it up. How tough a matchup, and how do you think that helps limit the turnovers when you have that many ball handlers?
Oh, if you got, just think about it, if you got those 3 guards and Trey out there, Trey's like a point guard too, and you got multiple guys that can handle the basketball and make good decisions, get us into our offense. I think it puts a lot of pressure on the defense. And so now you can't worry about just making in Barford. You got to worry about those other guys, and I think that's what we're starting to see. We're starting to see more and more guys that are really stepping up on they're stepping up defensively, but I think offensively also they're showing that they're capable of scoring too. I mean, let's say you get 8, 9 points from Darryl Bailey. You get about 8 points from Dustin Thomas. You get about 6 from Trey. Let's say you get 10 to 12 on any given night. It could be 15 from C.J. Jones. So you got multiple guys now. And, of course, we know Daniels is capable of scoring in double figures. And Anton. I think Anton is doing a tremendous job of really being the common force out there on that basketball team. So, but I think just the more guards that you have out there that can play both ways, it puts a lot of pressure on other team's defense.
I guess Trey graduated.
He's got the patch now. He's actually got the patch on now, so he already had graduated, and so now he's officially one of the SEC graduates with the patches on, and you'll see him with it on. I think that's a tremendous honor, you know, to have a whole another year to play, and you've already got your degree, and you're working on second degree, you're working on classes, you know, that you can go towards your master's. And of course, Willie Kawasi the other day, he finished up his coursework, you know, in terms of getting his master's. So kudos to those guys.
Did Kawasi come back here and go through graduation?
Yes, he did. He did. While we were playing, he was graduating. Yes, sure did. That's the first kid that graduate transfer I ever brought in here, and that's to me a tremendous story. He actually got it, because a lot of guys they do the graduate transfer, but they do it for basketball. And you would think it was just for basketball for him as a 7-footer. But he went and played professional for a while, but he was still working on his classes. And so now he's got his master's, and I'm so proud of him. That's a big time, I think, big recruiting advantage, I think, for us. You know, he didn't just come here as a graduate. He got his master's, and that's big.
Just with the game on the 27th and then the SEC opener, how much time can you give these guys off for Christmas after?
I try not to be a total Scrooge, Nate, but they'll get a few days off there. The 19th, and they'll come back here on the 23rd, and we'll work our way up. So they'll be practicing on Christmas. I'll feed them, but we'll practice probably twice on Christmas.
Do some out at your house or something that day?
Yeah, oh yeah. We'll put a spread, Bob. We'll give them a good spread. Yeah. It'll be like at home.
Twice on Christmas?
Possibly twice on Christmas. Yes.
All right.
Hey, they got all kinds of time, Clay. Hey, it could be 3 times. So, but no, we'll go twice.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.